years ago, I found myself sitting on a gurney in the pre-op holding area, deep within the guts of St. Mary's Medical Center in West Palm Beach, Florida. Before one of the anesthesiologists could push a most delightful cocktail into my IV that would make me forget the fact that I was about to put my life into the hands of someone else, I sat face to face with Dr. Feldman, my orthopedic surgeon. As tears welled to my eyes, he looked at me and said, "Kristen, we have 3 options. 1, we do nothing and you become paralyzed, forced to live the rest of your life in a wheelchair. 2, I operate and the procedure does not take, thus leaving you unable to walk. 3, the 9-level spinal fusion and spinal decompression are a success, and you continue to walk on your own 2 feet. Whatever happens, you're going to have to fight like hell." Imagine a drinking straw and its wrapper. The wrapper protects and houses the straw. Picture the straw as your spinal cord and the straw wrapper as your spinal canal. When the straw is bent or kinked, the diameter of the wrapper is narrowed, thus compressing the straw. That is what happened to my spinal cord in several places, leaving me on the brink of paralysis. Spinal stenosis is one of many complications that individuals living with dwarfism can experience. I'm one of the lucky ones. After 9 hours in the operating room, I woke up in the intensive care unit and could not feel my right leg or move my right foot. I was scared. I was sad. I was angry. In that moment, I was not okay. As children, when we fall down and begin to cry, how do our parents and caretakers respond most of the time? We're met with, "Don't cry. Shh, why are you crying? You're fine." Meanwhile, we're laying on the ground with a skinned knee thinking to ourselves, "Hey man, I just took a major spill and it hurt. What if I'm not okay?" Our society has a tendency to shy away from the negative emotions. They are seen more as a sign of weakness. Growing up as a little girl with dwarfism, while everyone my age was learning to say their ABCs, learn how to tie their shoe or ride a bicycle, I was learning that there was always going to be that person who was going to discount me because of my height. That time that I went home crying because a classmate made others laugh at my expense, it was not going to be the last. And people, even my friends, were going to try and force the phrase, "you can't," into my vocabulary simply because my adapted way of doing something was incorrect. To this day, complete strangers still make rude remarks about my stature. Some are even kind enough to come up and let me in on a little secret, saying, "Girl, you're short." Gee, thank you so much for stating the imperceptible. So wait, what you're telling me is the likelihood of me joining the WNBA is slim to none? Thanks for shattering my dreams. But really, tell me something I don't know. Following a jarring experience of humiliation as a child, I was afraid to show that it got under my skin. I didn't want to be seen as weak or weaker. I didn't want my parents to hurt for me. So I suppressed my tears. I suppressed my dislike for those who made fun of me. And I desperately held on to this question of why? Why was this happening to me? I was a kid like everyone else who collected Beanie Babies on her parents' dime and blew bubbles in her chocolate milk. When we push our feelings aside, they do everything but disappear. They get stronger. You know, when you're at the grocery store walking by all the frozen novelties neatly arranged in their case and they're calling your name? What do you do when your belly starts screaming for ice cream? Ignore it? And how does that work for you? Terribly, right? Because all you want is ice cream. The more you disregard your extreme longing for a pint of mint chocolate chip or a gallon of Oreo, the stronger your desire for the cold treat is going to grow. And soon enough, it's going to torment you, just like your negative feelings. So what if, when the sadness, fear, and anger come knocking, what if we invited them in with an open heart and an open mind, unattached to what we should be feeling in that moment? Actually, right now, do me a huge favor. Just stop shitting all over yourselves. Allow the moment to be what it is and experience it fully. Letting the emotions in enables us to feel and process them, and then they pass. They come in, they stay a while, and then they leave. Make it a party. We all need our own private pity party once in a while with all the feels. And for goodness sake, buy the ice cream. What does it really mean to not be okay? Author Glennon Doyle describes the moments when life seems like a crash course and the weight of the world rests heavily on your shoulders as being in the valley. She says, don't knock the valleys. Everybody wants to be up on the mountaintop, but up there, the air is so thin, you can hardly breathe. And all you can do is stand still and try not to fall. But in the valley, that's where the river runs, sweetheart. That's where all the power is. And it's true. In between the mountaintop and the valley, that's your journey. That's where all of your life lessons are found, and that's where the magic has potential to happen. When I was in 3rd grade, we read a book called Thinking Big. It was about a little girl named Jamie who had achondroplasia just like me. My teacher saw it as an excellent opportunity for me to share my experience with my classmates on living in the face of adversity. Expressing how I felt when I was made fun of and people doubted my abilities was an open window for my peers to see the power that thoughts, words, and actions hold. They can pick someone up or they can push someone down. So one of my best friends and I made a movie to shine a light on the challenges and advantages of being a little girl. In addition to highlighting my differences, there was no hesitation on my part to also show what these little legs were capable of.
Some things that I can do that I can't, though, is I can do that part, but I can't do that part. Split. Splits can't go down all the way, but I can. And there's one more thing that I can probably do that no one else, except for other people like me, can do. I can sit down without bending my knees and get up without bending my knees. Some things that I have trouble doing is reaching things. Me and Liz can both reach that, but Kristen can't reach this one. And some things also that I have trouble with is getting up into the car. And some things that I probably can't do in school are sitting in the chair. When I get up into the chair, you probably notice that I get up into it like this. Liz just sits down. And some of the things that bother me are when my legs go out straight. That makes my legs very tired and they fall asleep and then they start hurting. But my teachers got me another new chair that makes me more comfortable and it helped my legs feel better. And there's one more thing that we have to say. It doesn't matter if you're tall or small, you can still be friends. And here's
It doesn't matter if you're tall or small, you can still be friends. A declaration that I made at the age of 9 by unveiling the beauty of different to others. Something that I still hold true to this day. With that same fierce mindset following spine surgery, I continued to fight tooth and nail to get back up on my own 2 feet. But the residual paralysis on my right side had caused intense instability, making the rehabilitation process extremely difficult. 4 months after my spinal fusion, I rolled back into the sterile operating room for Dr. Feldman to stabilize my right leg. And 3 months after that, my spine decided that it no longer wanted to adhere to the hardware, prompting another procedure. Dr. Feldman opened me back up, reinforced all of my hardware, and extended my fusion down 1 more level. Lucky me, I now have a scar that runs from between my shoulder blades all the way down to my behind, what looks like a continuation of my butt crack. Thanks, Doc. Following my second fusion, I was in an immense amount of pain. My new and improved internal scaffolding strictly dictating how I could and could not move this little soul suit. Pain was dominating and joy was hiding. In fact, I was convinced she was never coming back. Over the years, pain has become something that I'm really, really good at. I expect it, I tolerate it, I resist it, and I hide it. Suffering is part of the human condition. No one goes through this journey unscathed. But with all of the mud that I was struggling to walk through, I began playing the role of the victim. I didn't want to climb mountains anymore, but resisting my reality was exhausting. Even a smile, far too difficult to force. Friends and family attempted to make me feel better with band-aids of platitudes, saying, "This too shall pass," or, "Kristen, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger." Sitting in my valley of not okay actually required little effort. It was feeling everything and being okay with the feelings that arose that took patience and willpower. And then it dawned on me. What if it was okay to not be okay? What if every ounce of pain, every hurdle, every twist and turn were lessons meant to strip away my layers to reveal something magical? We all possess the capacity to feel. We just have to give ourselves permission. The moment I wrote myself a permission slip for all of the feelings that no one ever wants to talk about, shift happened. Physically, my situation was completely out of my control, but I had a say in how I wanted to move beyond the pain. I had a say in how I wanted to see and do life. And at the same time, I knew that I couldn't do it alone. Asking for and accepting help is a powerful tool reminding us of our collective existence. For me, it's been the consistent evolution of my dream team. Dr. Feldman, the entire staff at the Paley Institute, my family and friends, 3 of whom are present here today. This journey of life, we aren't meant to walk it alone. Healing isn't linear. For me, it has certainly been tumultuous, and it's also cleared a path. Being unapologetically myself, pain and all, has brought some breathtaking moments and beautiful people into my life. The same authenticity that I shared with my classmates when I was 9, I reconnected to after my second fusion. Operating from that place, it puts our heart in control. You find yourself in places, situations, and conversations that light you up and fill your love tank. Scars that we carry in our hearts and on our bodies are there to remind us and to teach us. When we meet someone else who knows similar pain, there is a gravity that pulls us in to walk beside them because we've walked the path, known the hurt, and carry the scar. So together we can be not okay. During rehabilitation one day, I was on a walkabout through the halls of the Paley Orthopedic and Spine Institute with Dale, my physical therapist. Walking unassisted was my top priority, and after scaling 4 flights of stairs with the help of a crutch, the railing, and my biggest cheerleader, I was winded and completely exhausted. I remember thinking in my mind how much more I could handle. My willpower was present, but was my physical healing possible? I wasn't sure. Rounding the corner together, Dale and I passed a room where a young woman about my age sat on a table about to be dished her own helping of physical torture, also known as physical therapy. A quick intro was made before my session concluded and hers began. As I was leaving, I could not shake the familiar reflection in the young woman's eyes that was staring back at me. For hours, I toyed with the idea of reaching out to her. Maybe she knew what it was like. The doctor appointments, the health insurance woes, and the overall intense commitment to healing as a grown woman. My top secret undercover investigation on social media proved to be unsuccessful in making a connection at first. But with a little outside help, I found McKaylee and reached out to her via Facebook Messenger. We agreed to meet for Sunday brunch. With both of us on crutches, we arrived in true adult patient fashion. McKaylee's mom having dropped her off, and my dad being my chauffeur. Thus began a 6-hour brunch, cocktails included. We sat in front of each other as whole women, our brunch a simple opportunity wrapped up in our adversities. As we sat there, eating, drinking, and dancing, the weathering heights and deepest depths of our journeys were exposed. It was then that I realized what I had seen reflected in her eyes that day. It was an epiphany of willpower. 3 hours into our soul food session, our parents reached out to us out of genuine concern, my dad making sure that I wasn't belly up on a sidewalk somewhere. We were just getting started. You see, true stories can heal just as much as modern medicine. The fight I saw in McKaylee that day as she sat in physical therapy was the same drive and determination that resided inside me. Our willingness to be brutally honest with our triumphs and tribulations became a sanctuary of hope, powerful reminders to each other of our sense of self. Since that day, we have formed a sisterhood unparalleled, sitting together in the dark and walking brilliantly in the light. Truly living means embracing both what you can and cannot control, the ups and the downs. We are emotional beings wired to feel, and that's our job. Let the complex emotions in and give them a chance to play out, no matter where or when, and without judgment. Those moments that you've been squeezed of your last drop of strength, it's okay. When emotions come bubbling up with a vengeance, it's okay. Days when the darkness seems to overwhelm the light, it's okay. And when the universe seems to close windows and slam the door in your face, it's okay. As I have come to find, a sign of personal growth is being okay with the moments when you're not. Authenticity is the key to healing. It builds us up and holds us together. I'm here, still standing, well, sitting, and happy to tell about it. I've lived in the valley surrounded by the dark, and I've climbed to the highest peak in the light. We all know these moments. Life is short, and so are my legs. I show my scars so that others may know that they are capable of healing too. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how long your legs are. You can only take one step at a time. Thank you.